Help me reach 500 subscribers. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them. Thank you. I never expected to hear the sentence that came out of her mouth that Thursday evening. Not from Emily. Not from the woman who once swore she'd never walk away, who laughed at my worst jokes, who held my hand when life felt unbearable, who promised honesty above everything. But there she was, scrolling through her phone like any regular day, as if nothing between us had ever mattered. Then she looked up, eyes colder and sharper than I remembered, and said, "I'm getting married to someone else." It felt like someone slammed a wall into me. My brain couldn't process it. What? I managed to say, even though my heart was beating out of rhythm. Emily tilted her head slightly, almost studying me. "We've been dating for 6 months. I thought you should know." 6 months. 6 months of silence. 6 months of pretending. 6 months where I thought we were healing, laughing again, making small plans, sharing small dreams, all while she was building an entirely different life behind my back. I forced myself to stay steady. "Good," I said quietly. "Then go live with him." She blinked, like my reaction wasn't the one she expected. Maybe she wanted drama, yelling, tears, a breakdown. But I didn't give her that. Not this time. A heavy silence settled between us. For a second I saw a flicker of the old Emily, the one who apologized for running late, who smiled at my stupid puns, who believed in us once. But it was only a ghost of who she used to be. She started to speak. But I lifted a hand. "Don't. There's nothing left to explain." She breathed out slowly and left the room. No shouting, no slamming doors. Just quiet footsteps, like she'd emotionally left long before she physically walked out. I sat down, my mind spinning. I kept wondering, was I the problem? Too boring? Too stable? Too safe? She used to call me safe in a teasing way. Now it felt like an insult, like the reason she drifted away. I remembered our small rituals, sticky notes on the fridge, late-night movies, shared coffee every morning. I thought those little things were unshakable. I thought they meant something. Apparently they didn't. Not to her. But even then, I didn't scream, I didn't collapse. I just sat there, and strangely I felt lighter. Like the weight of holding on to someone who had already walked out finally fell off my shoulders. Then the days that followed were the real test. She moved on publicly, photos, captions, hashtags I didn't dare read. Parties. Smiles that weren't meant for me anymore. Every post felt like a jab. But something surprising happened. The anger I expected never came. The hurt didn't grow the way heartbreak usually does. Instead, I started noticing things I'd ignored for months. My apartment felt peaceful. My mornings felt like mine again. My time, my music, my rhythm, all mine. Slowly, clarity took its place where heartbreak used to live. And I realized something. Her happiness wasn't my responsibility anymore. I was carrying memories and hopes that belonged to a version of us that didn't exist. Then one weekend, I walked past her building. Emily and her fiancé, Oliver, were laughing in the window. The old me would have felt replaced, small, worthless. But I didn't. I turned the corner and felt something sharp and clean inside me. Freedom. Not freedom from love, freedom from weight. Right then I made a decision. I wouldn't just recover. I would rebuild. 2 weeks later, I got a message. Not from Emily, from her best friend, Sophie. "Hey Liam, can we talk? It's about Emily." I didn't answer right away. But the next messages kept coming. Turns out, Oliver wasn't the charming guy Emily believed he was. Controlling. Manipulative. Someone Sophie never trusted. And Emily, she wasn't happy. She was realizing the grass wasn't greener, it was artificial. For a moment, I felt a small spark of pity. Not for Emily as a person, but for the fantasy she chased. I didn't gloat. I didn't feel victorious. The point wasn't revenge. It was the fact that I had survived something heavy and come out clear-headed. Time passed. I rebuilt my routines. Morning jogs. Music I hadn't listened to in years. Catching up with friends. Writing in my journal again. My apartment became a peaceful place instead of a battlefield of memories. Then it happened. I was in a cafe when I saw her walk by outside. "Emily." She looked exhausted, drained even. She saw me, hesitated, and for a moment our eyes almost met. But I didn't look away because I didn't need to. For the first time I realized, I didn't want her back. I wanted myself back. The version of me that didn't beg for love. The version of me that didn't shrink in someone else's shadow. The version that didn't measure his worth by someone else's approval. When I walked out of that cafe, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Excitement for my own future. Her wedding was coming up, but I had no plans to interfere. Our paths had split and I was finally okay with that. Months later, a message lit up my phone. Emily, Liam, can we talk? I paused. For a second the old ache tugged, then faded. I replied with one simple line. I hope you're happy, Emily. That was it. No anger. No bitterness. No chasing. Just closure. I realized something powerful that evening as sunlight warmed my apartment. Sometimes the greatest love story isn't the one you try to save. It's the one where you finally choose yourself after someone else walks away.